The modern assessment of danger in winter, well, maybe you want to rethink overhanging ice. Well, at least it wasn't sharks under the water waiting. What about the avalanches, the fire tornadoes, and the massive floods occurring across Europe? Let's take a look at it. Oklahoma, the fire-nado. 80 mile an hour per winds fanning these flames that seem to be, well, unextinguishable because of it's just moving too fast, too ferocious. Water blowing off the hoses for the firefighters turns to mist and doesn't really saturate those soils. Fast moving fire fronts, and this is what you can expect as these winds continue. Dryness across our crop growing zones. Welcome to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, these scenes don't usually go together in the desert, but hey, it's 2026. Indonesia, one of the largest tin mines in the world. Landslide, slurry slide, closing that facility down for a bit. There's going to be a spike in tin prices, but what's causing all the earth rifts? On to Brazil, hail, lightning, thunder. That is some very large hail. That's structure damaging. For sure, type of hail, anything that you have is going to be, well, dented, broken, or ripped to shreds, especially on the ag side. Looks like we're out in a farming community there. And on to France and Spain, 35 straight days of rain, smashing every possible record ever recorded across these areas in Europe. Nothing compares. Before here, off of Copernicus, river within its banks, some minor floods over the last couple of hundred years. And if you're looking at about the 1 or 2 o'clock position along the river, you can see that they have built back from the floodplain out of common sense, and the fields are the ones that will take most of the damage from floods, remineralize the soil, and then redeposit nutrients. That this has got to be an incredible productive zone here with floods coming in occasionally to, cover those fields once again. But the after, yeah, these waters are into those towns, even with their fortified walls along these rivers. This is something unprecedented. And again, I keep using these words, unprecedented, as we come into this time of massive changes. Another glimpse for you. You can see where the productive crop zones are directly along the river, knowing and taking advantage of the floodwaters at certain years through the last couple of centuries. And marching forward to the max flood here on the 18th. And again, it's rained for 3 more days after this. So this width of this is even expanded into, again, habitable areas. So the insurance claims and damage on this is going to be monstrous. And the rain continues. 40 days and 40 nights. Well, this is 35 days. We're getting toward that. There was been breaks in it, not continuous, as the Bible had referenced. But side tributaries highlighted as well, going into the towns. Diving in on some maps for you here. The border area between France and Spain. Then over on the far west, you got Portugal there. That's highlighted with no country demarcation on it, name-wise, but you can see the outline there. Reds are these rains that are so far out of the boundary that it's smashing all records. And you can see how this transits over through the Mediterranean, get a little bit going east, southern Italy. Holidays ruined in the Mediterranean if you're out on some of the islands. And then as we get over across the Adriatic, looks like southern Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and then as you go further south to Albania and then far east, it's hitting over into also Turkey, which I've seen some incredible flood footage coming out. So anywhere red is so far off the charts, they're breaking 200-year records. And all these official records that they talk about, this takes us further back. Now, if we zoom in a little bit, you can see Portugal on the west there with Lisbon, and to the south coast, Amalfi, we've got Spain right there, and then through Morocco. Now, if you're looking down, the pillars of Hercules, Marbella. Morocco specifically had broken their monthly rain totals and yearly rain totals already, where they had more than a year's worth of rain in less than a month. It inundated something like 500,000 acres of croplands. They had so much drought, and things were running off, and there's pooling, and their crop is northern area of Morocco is just going to be incredibly off their ranges for production on whatever they're pulling out of there in terms of fruit, veg. But again, we're at least at the once in a 200-year type of rainfalls where you're seeing red. Now, one of the spots on the north in Portugal here, Vigo, nice little day hike up to the observation post / lighthouse. Yeah, bring your wine glasses with you on that one. The rules of money are being rewritten right in front of your eyes. The institutions that control the financial system aren't waiting, warning, or wishing. They're acting. They're buying gold and silver at an unprecedented pace. Seems they're preparing for something. The question is, are you? For nearly a decade, Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of people protect their wealth with physical gold and silver. As the world shifts to hard assets, the window to act is closing. So let Noble Gold show you how simple it is to protect yourself and your family. While everyone else is reacting to the news, Noble Gold clients are positioned. They understand that when the rules change, you need assets that don't depend on the system. Visit 2030gold.com and download your free wealth protection kit today. That's 2030gold.com. The rules are changing. Make sure you're ready. And the February bonus for new qualified accounts, the 3-ounce American Virtues Independent Silver Round. Again, that's 2030gold.com. Click on that link in the description box below. South Coast as well. Daytime refreshment break on the balcony. Can't beat that, but not now. Too rainy. Taking a look at, well, where Lisbon would be with the bay there spilling out into the half moon. Coastline, easily findable on the map. This is from December 27th through February 7th. They were having massive floods here anyway. That's why they were picking it up on satellite. Anywhere you see red is flooding. But now add on top of this, and then we just continue to churn, and we come into the 20th of the month, and it still continues to rain. Now keep in mind, these types of floods have been raging for centuries, and this is one back in the 1960s in Spain. And you can see really how much wash there was and how much damage, even some of the government buildings sticking out. River banks there, covered in mud, not a mud flood, but similar. Porto in Portugal also, but they've had many a flood, and this is going to be ranking right near the very top, going back to 1962 for this one. People inundated, took quite the rescue effort to get everybody away. But then, last year in Spain, East Coast as a generality, this is the type of floods that devastated Valencia. All-time record floods, and it was just such a disastrous event. Now it's the second year in a row this is happening. So again, these areas being focused in on Portugal and Spain. Is this a trend? Is this going to occur every single year from now? Is something that we need to think about. Now, with all this rainfall comes massive snowfall, and with that comes massive avalanches. But again, risk assessment, just like that dude who was stepping on the ice that fell into the water. When you see an avalanche coming this close, generally you would say, maybe I want to get out of the way of this. But apparently not. And all those people with children in there, you should have at least gone for a little bit of cover. Now it's far too late. Now look at everybody scrambling. Oh, it's coming. Any type of large avalanche, it's going to blow through. There was no large valley in front of them. It was a dusting, as they called it. I saw some images or some video of when they were in the middle going, don't panic, it'll be okay. It's just a dusting. All right. Well, here's another one from Zermatt. This is an avalanche that did not cause a derailment, but did cause about a 2-hour delay on the tracks. Now, this is really incredible here. That was pretty heavy. But 2 or 3 days earlier, they did have a derailment off of the track. Now, this is the second time rail traffic has been disrupted on the actual physical trains. But the train tracks themselves have just had so many avalanches pouring over them that train service in Switzerland is now having incredible delays as they try to clear the tracks off from these. Over to Badakhshan in Afghanistan, have ourselves I wouldn't even call this an avalanche, it's more like a snow river. An entire side of a mountain has decided to come off and slowly roll and follow with gravity being pulled into a river here. So this in itself is quite interesting. It's a slower type of avalanche, but it's much thicker and wetter snow that's coming down. Still dangerous. Image of an avalanche crown here for you. Tahoe area, but this is the same thing that was seen in that previous waterfall. Now imagine all that snow coming down off of the face and pouring down a single chute. Exactly the same. This is just a different location where it could occur. And look at the amount of snow in Tahoe. And this is exactly the same thing that's occurring in Europe, like 6-7 foot dumps. Japan had 6-7 foot single event snowstorms Is this the Hungatonga water vapor finally making its way out of the atmosphere in one last push? And this is the last year we're going to see such absurd amounts of accumulation in rain and snowfall? Will be decided over the next 2 to 3 years because that moisture from Hungatonga will have made its way out. So then we are left with some other force powerful enough to begin evaporating our oceans and putting that into the atmosphere so it can come down as rain or snow next year. I do appreciate you watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Spring is here. Time to get planted on your gardens. TrueLeafMarket.com. Heirloom and organic seeds for any grow zone on the planet. That link's in the description box below. Help support the channel, as well as the 1 week or 3-day emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. That link's in the description box below as well. Please share with your friends and family. Smash that like button. And please push us through social media to help with the algorithm. I will see you next time. Bye for now.